As a resident of Calgary for the last 3 years, I will say that it is sadly true that sometimes we don't explore our own backyards enough. Obviously, when you travel to some really exotic, different destination, you feel like you have to see everything, you have to do everything. But in your own city, for whatever reason, you don't take advantage of all the amazing things there are to see and do. It's a very strange phenomenon, and one that I really would like to change. So I was very excited when Tourism Calgary reached out to me and asked if I wanted to be a part of their group trip to explore the cultural, music, and art attractions here in the city. Because if you guys aren't familiar with Calgary, it is certainly now one of the fastest growing cities in all of Canada. I feel like every time I come home, there is just so many new businesses popping up. There are so many things that I haven't heard of before, like different events going on. So I feel like even if you visited Calgary a couple of years ago, it is just quite a bit different now. So in today's video, I hope to give you guys a great tour of the city. We have an amazing team showing us around. And if you guys are looking for more suggestions of things to see and do, I'm definitely going to put a link to Tourism Calgary's website because they have so many suggestions of how to make your stay the absolute best. As some of you may have heard, the most famous attraction here in Calgary is certainly the Stampede. It is a rodeo, an exhibition that happens every year in the summer. It is so much fun. But if you can't make the dates, this is actually the next best thing, and this is my first time here. This is the Sam Center. It's actually right next to the Saddle Dome, and you can come here and take a look at the history of the Stampede and this lovely little museum that they have built, as well as a super cute cafe restaurant. Would definitely recommend checking it out.
My name is Linda. I am a volunteer with Tourism Calgary, and it is my pleasure to be here with all of you in your lovely white hats. You look amazing.
Thank you.
Now, the white hat is the symbol of Calgary, and it has been built right here locally in Calgary by Smith-Built Hats. Inside each official white hat is everything amazing about Calgary. Our Western hospitality, our Western spirit, and oh my gosh, the joy we feel when welcoming new folks to our city. Now on the count of 3, we're going to raise our hats and yell Yahoo all at the same time, okay? 1, 2, 3, Yahoo!
Oh my gosh, they totally surprised us with the white hats. I absolutely love it. And to be honest, I feel like white cowboy hats are just elite. And so since these are like the hats of Calgary, I think if you guys come here and are in the market for a cowboy hat, get something like this. Even if it's not Stampede, like, you will not look out of place wearing a cowboy hat in Calgary. Now for our evening plans, we started off the night by heading to Caesar's Steakhouse downtown, which is definitely a staple in the city's dining scene since 1972. Their dining room is absolutely beautiful, and the service at this restaurant was just a plus. We were even able to get tableside Caesar salad. But of course, the steaks are the star of the show because they only use premium Alberta beef that has been aged for a minimum of 28 days. After such a delicious and satiating meal, we decided to go burn off the calories at one of the best places you can go for country music and line dancing in Calgary, which is Ranchman's Cookhouse and Dance Hall. Now, you guys know I grew up in Saskatchewan, and we have a very similar country culture to Alberta, so it was just a great throwback to be able to see everybody in step, in line, having a great time on the dance floor. And of course, we ended off the night with trying out the mechanical bull, which, you guys, I'm pretty proud of myself. I ended up staying on this thing, I think, a maximum of about 50 seconds, which, if you haven't tried it, you don't understand how hard it actually is. So if you guys come to Calgary, absolutely you should make a stop at Ranchman's, because then you get the full country western experience. This morning we are at a very important spot in the city. We are at the Confluence, which is a really interesting historic museum about the beginnings of Calgary as a city, where in 1875 this was a Northwest Mounted Police outpost. I believe that, like, right in the space that we are standing in is where it actually was. And it's called the Confluence because this is also the place of the joining of the two rivers that Calgary is set on, which is the Bow River and the Elbow River. So this is just a really beautiful area by the river. This is actually one of my favorite areas of Calgary, near St. Patrick's Park. So we're actually going to get a local tour to tell us about the history of this place and take a little walk around. What was especially interesting about our visit to the Confluence is learning about the Indigenous stories that took place here. They have a really beautiful cultural center that talks about the effects of Treaty 7, and of course the influence of Métis culture on Alberta in the founding stages of Calgary as a city. Inside of the cultural center, we were taught to make our own Indigenous-inspired jewelry, some of which even used things that you can find in nature, like wolf willow. I actually really liked the pair I made and wanted to put them on right away. After that, we decided to take a little walk around the area since it is very close to the neighborhood that is called Inglewood, where Calgary really got its start. I really love walking around this area because there are so many great local businesses, one of which being the Nash, which ended up being our lunch spot. That's a restaurant that's set in a former 1900s hotel. They have really good Canadian comfort food dishes, and their cocktails, even the ones without alcohol, I must say were delicious. For the second part of our day, we were able to do a very special art walk with a local artist named Mackenzie Brown. Right in Inglewood, but all over the city, there are so many beautiful murals that were painted by different Indigenous artists. Mackenzie was able to give us a lot of interesting stories and the deeper meanings behind each mural. We also made our way into downtown, where we went to the newly built Central Library, which is honestly one of my favorite places in Calgary because the architecture of this building is absolutely stunning. That evening, we ended up having a very special dinner at Little Chief Restaurant, which can be found in the Grey Eagle Hotel on Tsuut'ina Nation. Little Chief is known for their Indigenous-inspired menu, and we got an extra special buffet spread from Chef Dash, who explained to us all of the different dishes that they had there, like braised Tsuut'ina bison, arugula mashed potatoes, candied salmon, duck tarts, and of course the regular sort of bannock and fry bread. There were just so many delicious things that we got to try. It was one of the most memorable meals that I've had in a really long time. Good afternoon, friends. It is day 3 of our adventures here in Calgary, and today is going to be more or less in the downtown core, where we are going to focus on the art, music, and also some fantastic views of the city from what used to be the highest building in the city. But first, let's go grab some brunch at one of the best breakfast places in the city. You know, I actually forgot just how awesome the views are from the Calgary Tower, because it has been a long time. Like, it has been a long time since I have been up here, probably when I was like a teenager, like 15-ish years ago. And somehow I don't remember the glass floors, like they go to glass floor, all these educational sort of panels. And because it is such a beautiful, clear day today, the views are just absolutely stunning. Fun fact about the Calgary Tower is that it originally was named the Husky Tower because it was a venture between Marathon Realty and Husky Oil to honor Canada's centennial and promote tourism in the downtown core. While it isn't the tallest building in the area anymore, it is 191 meters tall, which still gives you incredible views of the area. But if you're looking for the best view of the tower itself, I would highly recommend you go to the drinks and dinner spot that we did after our visit to the restaurant called Major Tom. I was honestly shocked that I hadn't heard of this place before because it officially is my favorite restaurant slash bar in the city. The views here, the views are ridiculous. Plus the interior is also really stylish. They have such a great menu of different craft cocktails. I ended up getting this really unique peach old fashioned that was like lit with a torch. All the other ladies really liked their cocktails as well. Their dinner menu was also really impressive. We ended up trying quite a few different things. I specifically got the crispy half chicken, which was delicious. And then there was dessert. And I was done by this point. It was so filling, but we had to try a few different dessert items. I ended up getting the chocolate millefeuille, if I'm saying that correctly, but it was also very, very good, very, very rich. Amazing meal, but they basically had to roll me out of there. And last, but certainly not least on our incredible 3-day adventure was Studio Bell, where we were able to take in a stunning candle-lit concert featuring Vivaldi's Four Seasons. Now, unfortunately, we were not able to film that portion of the performance, but they did allow us to film the last number, and I really do have to say it was such a special experience, especially in the candlelight. So if you guys do get a chance to go to one of these sort of performances, I would highly recommend it. So I hope you guys enjoyed this little window into the amazing city of Calgary. I hope it gave you some ideas for your next trip. I do want to say a big thank you to Tourism Calgary for inviting me on this trip. I think they did such a great job of planning such a varied itinerary that gave such a great overview of just how diverse and abundant this city is with things to see and do. So I'm actually going to link them in the description if you guys want even more suggestions of how to plan your perfect trip. But as for me, I am actually going to be heading back to Toronto because I have a few other things that I have to do there while I am in the country. So the next content that you guys will see from me will be back in Toronto again, but after that I will be back to Calgary once again. So thank you all so much for tuning in. I am sending you lots of love, and as always, keep being your own kind of beautiful. Bye guys.